You ready to chat about some newsy rumors?
Newsy rumors.
Newsy rumors. Hot takes. There's always the hot takes at the bottom, but no guest ever brings hot takes for us to talk about. So, Tim, this might be your segment, man. If you've got something you want to throw in here in between headlines.
Man, I gotta think of something real quick, man. I've watched a whole lot of wrestling this last week or so.
MJF's deal with AEW is long term and a multi-million-dollar per year deal per Fightful. No shit. Do we expect him to have anything less?
Multi-year, multi-million-dollars. Yeah, that makes sense.
Tony Khan has seen like how poor the ratings have been since MJF's been gone. So you know that man's going to do whatever he can to keep MJF there.
Here's the question. Let's make a gentleman's bet on it, okay? $1. $1, gentleman's bet. All right? Is there going to be over 1 million viewers Wednesday night with MJF's return?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they get close. I think 875.
875 is a good bet. Scout says hell to the no, not even close. Collision only got 122. Woo! Wow. 122. Like,
hey, that's better than some other shows.
Hey-o. I was watching the MLW show last night on YouTube for free, and at one point there were 30,000 people watching it. Like, that's super impressive for MLW. Like, I'm hyped for that. Indie wrestling is hot. Bo, what you think? MJF, they're multi-million-dollar deals, all that nonsense. Will he get 1 million views?
No, they're not going to pull 1 million. They'll skate close. There will be some interest, but not enough to maybe move the needle as much as Tony Khan thinks.
Yeah.
I'd have gave MJF anything he wanted to keep him out of WWE's hands.
So you said not 1 million, though. Where do you think they're going to fall? Give me a number, because whoever gets closest, I'm going to send $1 to. Because that's the bet. I'm a gentleman.
Half.
500K?
Half. If Collision's pulling in 120, half.
Al, what you think?
I think they'll get 1 million.
You think so you're going to take 1 million? Mm-hmm. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to split the difference between Bo and Tim then and say 750. Timmy's saying 700. So, okay. Scout says not even Scout says 810. All right. There we go. All right. What's next on your list?
In addition, the site says there are significant creative plans in place for MJF to have a high-profile feud.
OG Blue says 800. Sorry. Now
that he's back. A big feud had been planned last year between him and Adam Cole, but, everybody got hurt. Arn Anderson and Mark Henry are both out in AEW. Are we seeing the exodus of all the ex-WWE guys going home? There have been a lot of the legends that have left. What do we think?
The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, pretty much. They're doing, Sting got a good run out of it. What did Mark Henry get?
Tonight's the main event.
What did Paul White get?
Where was the last time we saw fucking Paul White? When he come limping out to the ring to pretend like he was going to have that one match?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
No, that's fair.
Mike's in the running with 850. The Jericho Cruise, maybe, but has any of the four of us, as much wrestling as the four of us watch, did any of us watch any of the shows from the Jericho Cruise?
Can you?
Yeah, you can watch them online and stuff.
I mean, I kind of want to go on it.
I would pay to go on the Jericho cruise, not to help Jericho by any means, but to hang out with wrestlers for 5 days on a cruise. Like, yeah, that'd be dope as shit. Like 100%, I would do that. I just don't want to support Chris Jericho because, January 6th. So a year ago in the 2-week storyline, a year ago in that 2-week storyline. Thank you, Mike, the resident Dynamite expert. He's the host of the Boom on Wednesday nights with Cam. Go check them out. And not Phil the Future, Phil Khan. Phil Khan is also on that show. I always like the
Phil
two
the
Phils.
Future is on NXT.
NXT on Tap with Bo on Tuesdays. What's next on the newsy rumors?
PW Insider notes that there is a universal sadness within AEW over Adam Copeland's injury, as he has become a great mentor and sounding board for talent. Like, you're better than that, Edge. Like, you knew you shouldn't have taken that bump.
Hold on a second. Y'all keep going. I've got a video I want to play.
He fucked that bump up.
He fucked it up.
There was no.
That's all on him.
Yeah, there was no effort. The man didn't even jump. If we're gonna be honest,
Did he get nervous or something? Like, I've seen him take some crazy shit in my day. Did he get nervous to do just a normal fucking chest to chest slam? What?
I think he was gassed. If I'm gonna be honest with you, it was a good match. Not taking anything from the match, but I think by the time he got to that high spot, he was gassed. There was no effort whatsoever. Zero.
I can't. Oh, I'm sorry, Tim. I can't play it here because there won't be any audio for it. I'll put it on TikTok after the show. I recorded when he started climbing the cage. I recorded the screen while we were watching it because I wanted to get the reactions. And all you hear is Al go, "Oh!" I was going to play it so you could see her reaction, but you wouldn't be able to hear her reaction, so it doesn't do it any justice. I'll upload it to TikTok after the show.
If you send it to yourself on Instagram.
I can open it, maybe.
No. Yeah.
Okay, I'll figure it out. It's not important.
No. They also say Adam Copeland now owns the rights and trademark to the Brood, and that's how he was able to use it at Double. I know we had talked about that during the show.
Okay, that makes sense.
He bought it.
He bought it.
WWE also let the Rated R Superstar laps and a few of the other ones. I made a joke on my Instagram post about it because I was like, somebody at WWE is going to get in a lot of trouble because there was a whole slew of WWE copyrights and trademarks that were coming up this year. And I was like, all of this money and all of the contracts, somebody in talent relations shit the bed.
Well, they fired all of talent relations.
Me and Scowls were talking about that the other night. There's a lot of shit that's screwy with their books. Like the amount of contracts that were up, the amount of trademarks that were up. Like somebody in the talent relations department of WWE dropped the ball. Again, I found this. You dropped it.
I haven't been reporting it, but I've seen it. TKO has been letting go a ton of corporate people over the last couple of weeks. A ton. People that have been there for years, they let go of the talent relations chick that got Logan Paul to come on. They've let go a lot of people.
You and I reported early last year because I'd probably say the second biggest nerd on the internet that week because Brandon Thurston reported it about the same time I did. We were looking through the buyout. It was a publicly traded company, so you got all the merger information. So I was, reading through the merger documents and shit. And again, I just reposted the Section 3 article about how there's a non-compete for TKO and stuff. And you and I talked about how one of the key pieces of the merger was TKO wanted WWE to shed $45 million in contracts or something like that. $60 million in contracts.
50.
Whatever the case was. 50? Was it 50?
50.
It was 50. But we talked about it, and we saw all those cuts in talent. We saw all those cuts in the front of house. We saw all those. Now we're seeing corporate contracts in TKO cut. They're slowly building up to that number that Endeavor said, if we buy your company, these are the cuts you have to make.
They've reduced production.
Mm-hmm. They the huge cut. Like when they cut all that production back, they said it was for fans to put more butts in seats. That's exactly right, because you make all that money off the tickets.
Yeah,
You
Cody doesn't have pyro now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bo.
I would like the only thing that looked different in SmackDown when it came to production is the screen was smaller. They didn't open any of those back seats up behind it, which like I thought they would do.
Maybe they just didn't sell enough at that show to merit opening it up.
WWE will do that.
Yeah.
In a post on F4W Online, Brian Alvarez compared current AEW to 2019 WWE. He wrote that most people, not just wrestlers, don't know what they're doing until hours before showtime. Some are flown into towns and given nothing to do, while others are begged to fly in last minute to do something. Alvarez's AEW contacts say Tony Khan is incredibly difficult for the most part to get a hold of. Weekly television is booked show to show, while Khan knows what he wants to do for pay-per-views. That often changes as well. It was then the script for Double or Nothing was switched multiple times the afternoon before the show. The changes are talked about all the time by people in all roles, from wrestlers to the office. No shit. Somebody who has never booked a wrestling show before decides to 5 years ago, I'm going to fucking book wrestling. Changes his mind all the time when he doesn't let anybody help him book. Gee golly whiz, who would have thought?
Bo, you and Tim can go. I'm looking for something for this.
Tim?
I'm not gonna lie. There is critiques on AEW. You can critique any pro wrestling show, but to me, I feel like it is just people that complain about change, something that they've been asking for the 15 years before AEW showed up.
No, that's fair.
Like, for some strange reason, we have to. Tony Khan has to have like the booking ability of, insert any booker that's been booking pro wrestling for over 10 years. Like, it can't be that bad, or you would assume that the top stars around the world wouldn't come and sign for him, or you might run into an issue of them leaving and quitting. Like, you never. I'm not saying it's not possible, but like,
right.
When do we ever really hear about a AEW superstar going like, hey, outside of Ricky Starks last week, but like, who's been like, hey, F AEW, I'm done, I'm quitting? Like, Punk?
CM Punk.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I was in a Discord chat with the day job for Last Word on Sports, no free shout outs. And one of the guys who cover AEW talked about this specific article. That's what I was pulling up because I remember discussing it there in our social chat. And it says that's normal that Tony is keeping the bookings to himself. He does that to avoid spoilers and tells people and Dave kind of like other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he gives people like outlines, but he doesn't actually tell everybody the full story, and he keeps it to himself. So that way it's like there's fewer chances of leaks as to what's coming and returns and surprises and stuff, right?
Okay.
And I said, that makes sense. But what I said is kind of shady is Wrestling Observer kind of switching this story and Brian Alvarez taking that information and then making it look like Tony Khan is like spasmodic and flighty by saying he's changing a lot by people not finding out till day of. That just might be Tony Khan's booking style. He might not let the boys know until they show up, because we know historically, and I can't believe I'm defending Tony Khan on air. We know historically that Tony's had a lot of issues with scheduling. like people canceling, because he does put over a lot of indie talent. Sometimes there's travel issues, people can't show up, so Tony has to make these changes last minute for those reasons. You know, he lets his guys go out, his guys and his gals and his theys and thems. There's no defense for what he's doing. Please stop, Will. I'm sorry, Scals. I realized I was too far. I've already jumped off the ledge. I can't stop. I'm sorry. But the long and the short of it, I'm not giving him defense, but what I'm saying is there is a little bit of sense made here, given that information. Like, he's keeping it close to the vest because he doesn't want the leaks out. That's why changes are being made so late. So I'll let it slide. That makes a little bit more sense that way. And I'm sorry, Scals. I know I disappointed you.
Gigi Dolan was not backstage at NXT this week, and Brennan can't read, reports her makeover storyline with Ariana Grace has been dropped, but has yet to hear why.
Because it sucked.
Yeah, because it kind of blew.
It was booty doody poo. It was.
You see all the other all the other amazing things happening on NXT TNA we're about to talk about. That some stupid like Barbie makeover story got dropped because it was a terrible story. Sorry, girls. Like, work on something else. Lo siento.
It was just the yin and the yang to the Thea Hale thing.
Yeah.
They made try to make Thea Hale a bad girl. They were going to try to make Gigi Dolan. Ooh, it's fucking stupid.
What's that? The fucking Office did it. They did it to Dwight. What's the name of that fucking movie?
My Fair Lady.
No.
Pygmalion, which is My Fair Lady.
No, it was Pretty Woman. When he gets
Pretty
fucking
Woman.
made fun of at the mall, and they like do the makeover. Like, that's what they were doing to Gigi Dolan. They were pretty womaning Gigi Dolan.
Yeah.
Is that the way to say that? Sort of.
Seems like it fits.
Wait, the mall? You talking about 40-year-old virgin?
Well,
no, in
I mean,
go ahead, Al.
Pretty Woman is a modern day interpretation of Pygmalion, which is the original book/play for that they made My Fair Lady with Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah, that's like saying that 10 Things I Hate About You is the Taming of the Shrew.
Because it is.
10 Things I Hate About You is the reason why the Joker exists, because he went crazy trying to impress girls.
That's exactly right. That's why Heath Ledger lost his mind, and then he started pretending like he was a knight named William.
Yep.
As Natty's WWE contract expiration approaches, Fightful Select says she's keeping her options open and has been working on projects outside of WWE. This includes a possible Hart family movie.
God, let A24 do it.
Yes.
Just let them do all the wrestling movies from here on out.
Forever.
Pretty please.
Terry Funk that forever. Like, fuck.
A24 is the shit. Fucking bees. If bees had knees, they would look like A24 movies.
Yes.
They
Sir,
would.
you're absolutely right.
So I've noticed, with Becky and now Natty, TKO is letting these kind of bigger women's contracts expire. Like, the men got, other than Drew, got signed pretty quickly. Do we think that the women's division is taking a shift? Or do we feel like maybe TKO might not be the place to be for the ladies?
Do you guys care if I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think what TKO is doing, and I made a video about it on TikTok with their contracts, how they'll sign you, say they sign you to a 3-year deal. They'll sign you to that 3-year deal, and then every 90 days when they do their quarterly profit and loss meetings, they look at that list and they go, wrestler A made X amount of dollars in that 90 days, okay? But wrestler A only brought in Y amount of dollars in merch and revenue and blah, 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 and all of that, right? So they look at those two numbers at the end of that 90 days and goes, wrestler A costs us this much money, but they're only bringing this amount into the company. That's how they decide who gets cut, is if you're not bringing in and drawing enough money to compensate what the company is paying you, they will cut you. And they do those 90-day rolling contracts. That's why you usually see cuts happen in the first month of each new quarter. That's why they were happening in April. That's why they're going to happen in
June.
They'll start happening in June, May, June, July, January, February, March, April, May, June. So they'll start happening in July again. Is the next round of cuts using the same cycle they've been doing for years.
To what Scal said in the chat, I still believe she is signed and they are just not announcing it. If that were true, they wouldn't have let all of her trademarks lapse.
Ooh, that's a big red herring, a smoking gun, if you will.
They stopped fighting for the man trademark with Ric Flair, and they have they had applied for the trademark, the re-upping of the trademark for Big Time Bex, and they have let that expire as well. So unless they're doing a complete secret rebranding of her, which I doubt very highly, because those are two, I mean, her merch is pretty popular with those two things. She has said for a long time that she wanted to take an extended break. That's actually my next headline, that Meltzer reported that she's taking an extended leave. She has said in many, many interviews that she wants to focus on being a mom for a while and, having time at home. And with Seth recovering from injury, now is the perfect time. She was supposed to have had a break right after she lost. Was it at Mania?
She lost at Backlash?
A Backlash.
No. When did she drop the belt to live at Backlash?
No, she dropped it at King and Queen of the Ring.
King and Queen of the Ring.
No, but before. She was supposed to take a break after Mania.
And then Rhea got hurt and she won the title.
Rhea got hurt and they begged her to stay a little longer and she agreed.
Bingo.
She wasn't supposed to be around because what they didn't want to just put it on Liv and that be it. They wanted to build a story, that Liv, to give us Liv, because they've seen with Liv in the past that if they shove Liv down our throats, we know likey. She does use the Big Time Bex for every now and then. She doesn't always use the man. And they still sell Big Time Bex merch, like a lot of it. So she used Big Time Bex before Mania, didn't she?
I don't recall her using Big Time Bex since 2020. She was Big Time Bex right after she first returned in 2022, and she stopped working that gimmick about midway through last year.
And switched back to the man.
Yeah.
But
so
they
she's
let
still
both go.
Yeah, whatever the case is, both have been lapsed. So, but yeah.
I think she's going to be back, but I don't think we're going to see her for a long time. Her not having a current contract is a moot point because we all know that she's not fucking going anywhere.
I don't know, Tim. What'd your meme say on TikTok, man? Rebecca Quinn is all elite. That looked pretty fucking fly, right?
Sure, it sure did. It drew a lot of eyes too that day. It did. It drew a lot of eyes. Anything's possible, man. I don't think Becky's the one that's going to leave. I'll say that.
Spots have been botched. Chairs have been shot. You're right.
I mean, she has made several statements in interviews that she has been unhappy about the fact that they didn't immediately start contract negotiations with her. She had that whole thing about, what was it with the lemonade?
The lemonade shirt.
Yeah. Where she was mad at Triple H. I can't remember what she was mad at Triple H for. But
bullshit stories. Same thing everybody gets mad at their booker for.
Right. She made that joke she wasn't in Saudi because she was at home making lemonade, and then she came and sat next to the ring drinking a glass of lemonade.
Yeah.
No, I think that they'll just pay Seth a little more. I don't think they'll sign her to sit at home. Like, if it was Vince McMahon still running things, yes. But TKO is a large corporation, and honestly, like, in large corporations, you are fucking replaceable. They're not going to pay Becky to sit at home and be a mom. Like, that is one thing I can guarantee that they're not going to do.
Hi, Mateo. It's good to see you, bud.
Like, business-wise, like, that is stupid. If they're not going to renegotiate their contract, they're not going to pay her to sit at home.
I don't know, man. It'll be interesting. I think they both show back up at Rumble. I do agree with Scowls there. He and I have been on a lot of the same wavelengths as of late, and per the usual, you and Scowls butt heads lovingly every day. And I love you both for it. You make working together very interesting.
I don't think that she's like gone forever, but I do think she's gone for a while, and she definitely doesn't have a contract.
Yeah,
it is what it is. That's that.
Tim, you got love from Sec, the authority figure from your TikTok live. She's in the house. She says you're doing great. Keep up the good work. She loves you.
Oh, yeah.
WrestleVotes was told that the partnership between WWE and TNA has been months in the making. Furthermore, there are tentative plans for additional superstars to make crossover appearances in due time. Both companies understand that a slow, thoughtful approach is the best way forward in the beginning stages. Because we all know as soon as that non-compete is up, TKO will be buying TNA.
Bo, what you think? You've been quiet for a little bit.
I think with any merger of a company, stuff's going to fall through the cracks. And especially if you're laying off so many people, like corporate-wise, not even wrestlers, the people we don't know about, that some of these contracts will fall in the cracks. Mm-hmm. I kind of enjoy not knowing if they've signed or not. Because then I get to make shit up in my mind.
Fantasy booking 101, right? That's one of the perks about kayfabe.
Yes, sir.
Ritter says, I think Becky is going to TNA because I'm watching it now. Shut the fuck up.
She was watching last night. She was in the chat. I saw 100%.
According to
Bo can fall through my cracks. No, hey, giggity. That's right.
According to Fightful Select, the controversial ending of Gunther's win over Randy Orton and King of the Ring was not planned. Orton's shoulder was not supposed to be off the mat during the final pinfall of the bout. Well, no shit. Like, come on, guys. Like, we all knew that. That's why they're scrambling. Like, sometimes people fuck up.
Yeah. It's called live TV.
Yeah. Sometimes people fuck up.
Even players slip.
Stop latching onto it. Like I said in my Pissed Off for Greatness, everything that happens isn't necessarily part of the work. Things just happen.
Agreed. Not everything is something.
Yes, not everything is something. According to Daddy Meltzer, the numbers being talked about in AEW negotiations for a new TV deal are said to be considerably more than the range that would make the company profitable, which is north of $110 million per year. There's also talks of figures being between 50% and above, as much as nearly double the current number said to be already on the table. So you're going to give a non-profitable company more money. Okay. Do what you do, Discovery and Warner Brothers. Just stop making me pay $50 per pay-per-view. And I don't give a shit what you should do.
I 100% agree with that they need to stop with that. Go to fucking Max, guys. It'll make it everybody. I think they'll get more views and they'll make more money if they go to Max.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, per Danny Meltzer, WWE's main roster minimum salary is now $350,000 a year.
That's more than the league minimum in the NFL.
Fightful Select confirmed that TNA cuts this week include Lou D'Angeli.
D'Angeli.
There you go. Better known to wrestling fans as Lou E. Dangerously from ECW, Lou worked as VP of Marketing at Anthem Sports Group. Now we're going to dive into, because I know like Will wanted to talk about it. So I'm going to read several headlines about TNA and NXT and Jordan Grace and all the things.
This is it. You guys ready?
Of course.
Jordan Grace is in Battlegrounds NXT Women's Title Program will not be the only WWE TNA collaboration in the days ahead, according to PW Insider. Their sources believe there will be some sort of NXT representation in future TNA events and programming as well, but haven't heard how much crossover there will be and whether it could be anyone beyond Roxanne Perez. Grace signed a contract with WWE for a minimum of 3 dates. Her surprise appearance this week, a TV match next Tuesday, and her Battleground title shot against Perez. The deal between WWE and TNA Knockouts champ is said to be in the 6-figure range. Interesting.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Hey.
6 figures for 3 days of work, gentlemen.
Yeah.
You guys spend 6 figures and not put that belt on her, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you want to do the rest of them?
What was the other ones?
WWE went to great lengths to keep Grace and Ethan Page's appearance a surprise, including listing Grace as Alexa Bliss or Lita on run sheets and playing Lita's theme at a show walkthrough. Fightful says Perez specifically asked not to be told who her Battleground opponent would be so she could have an authentic reaction for the reveal.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Roxanne Perez. I love Roxy. I've loved her since NXT or since Ring of Honor. But stop making them stupid fucking faces. She's just straight up like fucking stop. Sorry.
You're not a Roxy fan except when she's like beating the shit out of people. What do y'all think about heel Roxy though? Like, what do y'all think about since she's went heel? Because we hadn't seen her heel. We didn't see her heel when she was at Booker T school. We didn't see her really heel in Ring of Honor. We didn't even see her turn heel when they made her drop the belt when she left. She was pretty much been a babyface her whole career now. So what do y'all think about heel Roxy going into this and everything going on with her and Jordan Grace and stuff? Like,
I'm lukewarm.
Lukewarm on it? Timmy, what you think? Tim, I'm sorry. I was thinking about Timmy in the chat. I'm sorry.
Like, I'm about the same room temp. I don't know.
It's the faces.
Like,
Yeah. Bo, you're a Star Wars fan. You remember what a tauntaun is?
Fucking love tauntauns. I want to live in one.
You know the internal temperature of a tauntaun?
Not off the top of my fucking head.
Lukewarm.
I hate it here.
yeah.
Well.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Al. It's your show. She's gonna fire me and make Matt start.
Hey, listen.
Des says I couldn't even type it out fast enough.
Listen, I called for Matt Ritter and he showed up. So, I mean, he's waiting in the chat to take over.
Say his name and he'll appear. I believe in Matt Ritter.
Lord.
That was not rehearsed, by the way.
No, not even a little bit.
WrestleVotes indicates that it's possible that TNA Knockouts champ Gordon Grace will defeat NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez at NXT Battleground on June 9th. For what it's worth, PW Insider says some in WWE claim that Roxanne Perez legitimately did not know who blah blah blah. We already read that. She didn't know. Insider claims the belief in WWE is that there will be some sort of NXT involvement at TNA Against All Odds in Chicago on June 14th, and possibly Slammiversary in Montreal as well. Do we need to go to Against All Odds in Chicago on June 14th?
That's in 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
Like, no. There's no way.
I mean, I bet we could find somewhere to stay.
Word on the street is, the Rack believes in you, Thomas. Word on the street is we might have a connection or two in the city of Chicago. Here's my take on it. And I say this every time this happens. Eventually, some of these motherfuckers will drink the Will Gray Kool-Aid. I started reporting on this show, lovingly supported by my brother, Bo, and by my partner in crime, Al. There would be TNA representation in both the Rumble and on television in 2024. And nobody took me seriously when I said that.
Well, you made it very clear to everyone out there. An hour before the Rumble started on a TikTok live in St. Pete, that there was a TNA represented in the house,
in the building. They said, Will, who's your guest? Who's your guess for who's going to show up? And I said, without a doubt, TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace is in the Women's Royal Rumble. Well, what?
I mean, you may have had
somebody in the building text me to let me know they were in St. Pete because I texted them to ask if they were there.
Yeah.
So what?
Wow.
What the fuck ever? It still counts. I can't help it. My friends are super cool. Every Botched Spots and Chair Shots poster has a hidden rack now. That is absolutely factual information. I don't like it when you guys say things like that. It makes me blush because I don't take what I do seriously.
Moving on. I'm done.
How's your buddy Mike?
Fuck you, Bo. You were going to bring that up.
Fucking curious there.
I didn't mean for it to be that way, dude. I was just like, never mind. I'm not even going to talk about it on air. It's embarrassing.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, to be fair, TNA would have been represented without Jordan, cousin Naomi. Absolutely. Scals gets me. Don't out my sources.
Not technically, because she wasn't in TNA anymore at that time.
Fair. Also true. Touche. So that's the last of news and rumors?
Yeah.
Oh, that means we still got a little bit of talking time to chew on some stuff. Guys, May month in review.